What is your stance on psychedelic research?
Yeah, I think psychedelics are wonderful. I fully support them for the use of treating disease dysfunction, and then also for people to explore their own consciousness. I think they're very powerful.
Have you experimented?
Yeah.
And have you experimented since you started Don't Die? And
I haven't.
No, you haven't. What is your guess is going to come up if you're on ayahuasca with this mission in mind?
Yeah, I would imagine that it would be like some sentiment that we are part of this continuum of existence that exceeds our ability to see. It's almost like this invisible thing that the wholeness of existence is bigger than our comprehension, that our importance of keeping this thing alive is important, and that we would probably be invited to overcome our current small-minded primitive selves into something more significant. I would imagine it would probably be along those lines.
So it would be an encouraging note.
A very encouraging note.
Yeah. You don't fear the fact that it might tell you, hey, listen, don't play with existence itself?
That's a good question.
I think you would have to try.
Yeah, it's a good question. You'd have to be open-minded for that to be the case. Like you have to go in there with a clear, like if you want to find truth, you want to seek it out versus manifest it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, not encouraging you to find out, because I genuinely think what you're trying to do here is, I mean, I've frankly never understood why the hate exists, because I think what you're doing, treating yourself as patient zero for such an important, there's this idea, I think I heard Peter Thiel talk about how science has not moved beyond information processing since the early 70s. It's been stagnant in a certain way. And only when I began to come across all these bio interventions, for instance, even Ozempic, even though it's not, I think, I'm assuming it might have side effects later on. But there's something that came out that will not let you have cavities and such. Those were all primitive steps in bio. That. Which one? Luma?
Yeah.
Yeah? And does it help?
We'll see.
Yeah. You need to eat a lot of chocolate to find out, I guess.
Yeah,
a lot of candy. But I feel like only now, after like 50, 60 years of resting on biotechnology and doubling down on screens and information processing, we have come to look back into probably the most important frontier in technology, which is how do we enhance the function of the human. And I think it comes because we are risking artificial intelligence, maybe a fusion with artificial intelligence and our consciousness, a silicon form of life, a humanoid, android form of life. And so suddenly this has become much more accessible, and we are doing much more of it. But I have one more question. Have you heard of Vipassana meditation?
Yes, I have.
The 10-day silent retreat.
Yeah.
Have you tried that?
I haven't.
You might find that very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you perform no meditational, or for that matter, do you have a spiritual angle to yourself?
I meditate twice daily. Yeah, morning and night.
And what do you meditate? Like just sit down and focus on your breath, or is there a mantra?
So I try to exist in the 25th century.
Even in your meditation?
Yeah, that's my meditation.
You're very obsessed.
Yeah.
Have you heard that? So you're just imagining what it looks like.
Yeah, I'm imagining what they feel like, what they look like, what they think, what they believe. I imagine them looking at us, making observations about us. Like I'm trying to pierce through this moment and see beyond my capacity to understand in this moment.
I'll take 15 more minutes, all right? I know you're very tired. I'm just wrapping this up, but I want to understand what is your imagination like? What do these people look like? How do they think? What are their beliefs and so on?
Yeah.
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 This might be a sci-fi prologue.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. In these contemplations, there's no bridge from trying to embody their existence and mapping them to words. So when I do this meditative experience, there's this higher dimensional state of consciousness and existence. And when you have to take that and reduce it down to words, you basically come to a fraction of the contemplation, and it can't be translated.
So you're saying you can see it, but you can't speak it.
Exactly.
The words don't fit.
It don't fit. It basically crushes the existence. And so it's really not trying to assign words like they care about this or they have this objective. That's primitive speak. I'm trying to really feel into what does existence feel like? What does intelligence feel like? What does it mean to know and not know? What do you care about? What are your desires and what are your wants? Like you're trying to like fill in, and you're trying to like relieve yourself. I think Buddha was doing a lot of this, right? Like he's like really filling in to like what is consciousness at the most basic level? Like what are these emotions that are happening? And like are they mine, or like can I detach myself? I'm trying to do the same from the perspective of a godlike intelligence. What does that feel like? And I think, so yeah, that's my ultimate quest, is like to basically try to solve the riddle of existence, bridging that world to this world, so we can Sherpa ourselves to this other world. I don't think we want to mess this up. I think it's going to be a cool thing.
Guys, if you're enjoying the clips that we are putting out on this channel, you can consume all our podcasts in small clips right here. We chunk them together and release them just for your convenience. Do not forget to press the subscribe button.